Take a look at this bizarre scene. This was inside the Capitol Hill Rotunda after the President's State of the Union address.
Why?
Let me be clear to you. You have to do that to me again. I'll throw you.
I just wanted to ask you. Why? It's a valid question.
You tell me. No. You're not man. You are not man. Like a boy.
Almost impossible to believe, but you were just watching New York Congressman Michael Grimm physically threatening a local reporter who just asked about an ongoing federal investigation into his campaign fundraising. The reporter's name is Michael Scotto. He's with us right now. He's from NY1, and Michael Grimm, of course, is going to face a whole new set of uncomfortable questions for him. Michael, it's great to have you.
Nice to see you.
I don't know what Grimm was thinking. You know, a kid from Floral Park isn't going to back down. You know, you got that Strong Island going. You just did a normal interview. You had to ask about the ongoing investigation. What did you make of his reaction?
I was surprised by his reaction. I asked that question at the very end of an interview about the State of the Union address. I decided to throw in that question about the investigation because we had been waiting to hear from him on allegations that had surfaced just a couple of weeks ago. And I asked that question. I really wasn't expecting much of a response. I thought maybe he'd say, you know, I don't want to talk about that, or, you know, I've done nothing wrong, something to that extent. And then it kind of devolved into what we saw on television.
Now, you can't hear it that well, so let's go through. It's a good thing you're a reporter, so you can tell us what happened. You seem to sense something in his eyes when he's looking back at you. What did you see?
So what happened was we taped this segment basically as live. It was going to air as is. And I asked him that question, and he said, I don't want to talk about it, and walked off. So I then had to turn back to the camera and kind of explain as to why he left the interview. And I think it was during that time he got really infuriated and then came back to me once I had wrapped up and then leaned over and said what he said, basically saying that if I did something like that again, he was going to throw me over the balcony. I mean, I'm a New York City reporter. I'm used to pushback, but I had never encountered anything like that.
No, right? I mean, yeah, look, you cover politics. It can get ugly. There are a lot of threats and things that go on. Do you believe the substance of the threat, or are these just angry words?
No, I don't believe the substance of the threat at all. I mean, I'm not taking it personally. I just think he was angry by the fact that I asked that question, and I think he was even more angry by the fact that I kind of explained to viewers why he was not going to answer that question. So I'm not taking it personally. I'm not frightened by it. I think it's just, you know, it goes with the territory.
You know him. You've interviewed him a lot. You're a hard-nosed guy. Everybody knows that. You don't pull any punches. But were you surprised by his lack of discretion, coming back in front of a camera, whispering as if the mics wouldn't pick it up? He should know better.
Yeah, I mean, that was surprising because he knew. I had told him that we were going to air this as is. So he knew that this was essentially, for all intents and purposes, a live situation. And he knew that the camera was rolling. He knew that it was going back to NY1. So for him to come back and say that, I mean, was surprising to me. He had to have known, I mean, it's kind of PR 101, not to say anything like that in front of an open mic.
His best defense would be this. Did you have a deal with him about what the interview would and would not cover? I won't ask about this. Was that any condition of
There were no preconditions. When I spoke to him before the interview began, I didn't really talk to him at all about what we were going to ask. I just said, we're going to do this interview. We're going to air it as live.
So he had no expectation that that wouldn't be asked?
That was not my understanding.